here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for seeking harmony both within and without. So, definitely have been crying in my car. Definitely having some very big messages and downloads coming through. Had some very beautiful, powerful messages coming through yesterday, and I can feel clearing the throat chakra, and I can feel multiple messages wanting to be heard, and multiple series of channels are going to open up. And before that happens, I am going to take just a little tiny break from YouTube. It'll be about 3 days, and I'll explain why. Not in the full detail, but hold on a sec. Not in the full detail, but basically, here is a text space, right? I am a multi-dimensional being. I am a hippie child, flower child for real, an actual flower child. I'm a believer in peace and love and in change for the good. On the radio today and in the newspaper that I happened to look over when I was having lunch, basically there is a whole bunch of articles coming out about Elon Musk becoming the world's first trillionaire. And this, of course, is from his involvement not only in space exploration, but in his ever-growing, completely dominating, rapidly advancing tech corporations. Yeah? And the idea that somebody who is already such a millionaire, and they were, some of the people speaking today on the radio were talking about the Forbes group, right? And I'm not an American, although I have lots of love and respect and connection to American culture in lots of ways. I'm just horrified. Like, I'm just quite fucking terrified and horrified of what we as a collective, the human race, are allowing to happen. And I know that there has been a millennia of wars and fights between people. There has been people stealing and taking each other's land. There has been violations of human rights for a very, very long time. And to some degree, I've avoided talking about AI because here we are using a text space for me to get my messages out. On YouTube, you can see stats, like you can see your stats, and my stats came up like in the little thing the other day. I must admit, like I try not to look at it too much because it can be really upsetting. And they do this thing where they show you, there's so much interference, right? They do this thing where they show you in the last 20 hours what has happened. And I think my stats were something like I had almost 6,000 views in the last 20 hours, and not one single one of those views had just clicked like on anything that they were consuming on my channel. And there's just something really wrong with that. Like, there is something fundamentally creepy and disturbing about that. Oh, hi, ching. Um, and and essentially, the channeled message I'm bringing to you today is you are not imagining it. Tech CEOs want you to be insane. Tech companies, especially the ones connected to AI, the ones that are heavily pushing and promoting AI, they want you to be crazy. They want you to be out of your mind and not think for yourself, not have any connection to your own intuitive powers, not to have any connection, actual real connection to community outside of technology, communicating via technology. And so I'm just questioning and just going to take 3 days to myself, as well as engaging with and connecting with people who are safe and loving and caring and respectful, I'm hoping. Just to really talk to spirit and do some of my own work, breaking down and understanding what kind of involvement and like, we all have our individual choice on how we want to work with technology, how we want to be involved with technology. And like, you're not imagining it. If you feel like your phone is listening to you and taking and like literally recording everything you're doing, you're not imagining it. And just slowly but surely, like a frog boiling in hot water, which is a metaphor, but apparently it's also scientific. Like, we have collectively allowed our privacy to be utterly violated via technology, via phones. The fact that you say something to a person, whether they're a friend or a stranger or a family member, the fact that you say something and then over the next few hours, maybe 20 hours, whatever product you happen to mention needing, or whatever item, or even like what you've bought recently, the fact that that is then advertised back to you, that is really slowly but surely breaking down your sense of what is real and what is not real, your sense of what is a violation of privacy and what is not. It is making you so desperately attached to robots, to this like robotic, like AI is so dangerous and so harmful. And the idea that it's making your life easier while and making someone like Elon Musk into a trillionaire, while there are children starving, while there are entire villages, entire regions of lands that don't even have electricity, you need to stop and ask yourself about that. You need to check in with yourself about that. And it's also, like I always say, I don't want to be disrespectful or ungrateful to the incredible work that I also see being done via technology. But you got to remember, it is the people and the ancestors and the spirit guides and the creators and the 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 humans that are doing that. This is just the portal we happen to be sharing it on. And the isolation, tech Please give me clear divine guidance to be most beneficial. May I deliver this message with as much clarity, kindness, compassion, and calmness as I possibly can. If you believe in and support AI, I'm sorry to break it to you, but you need to really consider the reality of sexual abuse, of PORN, because if AI has developed to a standard and a space where things look so real that you need to understand that AI is generating it's so fucked that I even have to think about the way I'm saying this, because I'm talking through their mechanism, because I'm talking at an audience that is viewing me through a text space. And so they've even set it up so that we can't even properly expose and talk about it. I now am having to think about the words I'm using when AI generated content is adding to, aiding and abetting, if that's the technical term, child abuse, sexual abuse, stalking, gang stalking, and I just want to repeat again, content about children. And some of you might go, oh, well, at least it's not actually footage of children. At least it's not actually footage of the real person. But I can tell you that, from personal experience, mind you, that if an AI image, a fake AI image of you, viewer, is created that looks so hyper realistic, the damage is the same. And the damage is not just the same spiritually, energetically, and emotionally. It's literally going to generate and create more and more and more and more of it. It will just grow and grow and grow and grow. And it normalizes, completely normalizes RAPE. It completely normalizes child, PORN. It completely normalizes bestiality. And, you know, in spiritual community, we talk about people thought projecting. This is so much worse than that. We talk about casting spells. This is so much more harmful and dangerous, and it is being sold as something that makes your life easier and better. And if you have children, think about this. If you have animals, think about this. If you are a human being, think about this. Because Elon doesn't care. Almost said matter. I also got a really intense message about him actually being the reincarnated Hitler as well. This video is for entertainment purposes only. And yeah, I might pull cards on that if I have the stomach to at some stage. You've noticed that I have not been putting as many videos out. It's funny because people try and bully me all the time. People try and bully me for being disabled and not being able to work a 5-day-a-week job, a conventional job, right? Which is so gross and so backwards, especially considering that I'm somebody who, let me stay focused, So I have run a number of art spaces, a number of small galleries. Please give me clear and divine guidance, most beneficial, fun involved. And I started running galleries. So I'm 40 years old in human years. I'm a very ancient soul beyond that. And I am also very connected to my inner child. But I used to run art galleries, and my first art gallery I opened before the rise of social media, before everybody had smartphones. And then my second and third art spaces were after that. And it is so sad to think about the dramatic drop in community, the dramatic drop in people actually making artwork that goes onto a page, the devastating drop in people actually coming into art spaces to look at things. Now, as I've heard some artists talk about, people will go to major galleries to get Instagram photos, to get selfies with really, really famous artworks that have had a lot of promotion put behind them. That's just one example. Yeah, so the way that like these fake AI images are being created. So if you have a phone that has a camera on it, which is almost all phones now, do not be like, understand that every single time you open up your phone, someone will potentially be making a violent video of you, a violent AI content of you. I've not wanted to talk about this because this is not a frequency that I like talking about, right? But I think it's really time that we all stop and ask ourselves, what does it mean for Elon, who, by the way, I know this is all over the place because I didn't plan on making this video, but it needs to be said. Like, AI isn't just an imaginary thing. The cloud isn't just an imaginary thing. They actually take a lot of resources to run. They have these big, like, it's worse than a nuclear power plant in some ways. And there, you can look into it, there are entire towns and communities that are being destroyed by these AI hubs, right? These like, and they take so much energy, and they take so much water, and they take so much to do what? So that you can have a chat BT, whatever the fuck it is. Because I do not want to be. Okay. This is going to be a part one. I'm going to have to make a second part of this that's a little bit clearer and more concise. But you are being dehumanized. You're being actively dehumanized and made crazy. They want you to be crazy. They want you to be desperately hooked on and dependent on AI. AI that actually is very harmful in lots and lots of ways, puts people's lives in jeopardy like all the time, and we don't even think about that. Like, why would we have cars that drive themselves? Who's going to be responsible when something bad happens? Why would we trust everything into AI that, as many people have described, doesn't have a human? It just does not. Okay, for example, if you play video games, know that video games are very, 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 the people that create video games, that entire industry is very, very much connected to war. Very, very, very much connected, to the point that in Palestine, there are people who are getting murdered by robots. Having these like literal robots coming through, sensing them where they are and murdering them through the walls. Sensing life, and they're not going to discern whether it's a child, whether it's a sick person, whether it's an old person, whether it's somebody who's got their hands up saying I'm no threat. They have this is also something that some people spoke about, connected to Iraq and connected to the so-called war on terror, is that there are people who basically were doing simulations that were actually killing people, but they just think it's just like a video game. And we just need to stop and just really ask ourselves, like, what are we all doing? What are we all doing? I can feel so much energy trying to stop me from even talking, but that's not going to happen. And I know full well why I am having such a volatile, I'm disgusted at the idea of him being a trillionaire. Nobody should be a trillionaire. Nobody in this world should be a trillionaire when there are so many people in need, and what we are doing to the environment is disgusting. And so why would we allow somebody who thinks that destroying the planet and then taking the richest people and moving to another planet to destroy it, why would we trust that person? Somebody who thinks it's funny to violate people's privacy. Somebody who cares about and loves robots more and computers more than people. Somebody who, it's pretty clear, is trying to create a population that is very much linked to Hitler regimes around being an Aryan, right? White supremacy stuff. And all these big tech corporations we're at a stage where the things floating around in space, there's so much interference. Ugh. Elon owns more of the satellites in space than NASA does. Why? How have we allowed that to happen? Does that sound like a safe thing to be doing? But it's actually not about him. It's about all of us. It's about our entire, everybody, individually and collectively. Like, people just want to watch me. They don't want to talk to me in person. They don't want to sit with me in person. They don't want to build community anymore. They just all want to watch each other on the phones. And that is really dangerous. That is a dehumanizing and dangerous direction for us all to be going. Oh, and then there's AI stealing and replicating artwork. There's people who, instead of paying an artist to create a work or a logo, are using AI. And there are people literally taking themselves out of this incarnation because they have been made to feel and believe like they do not matter anymore because AI is taking their jobs, because AI is taking their positions, AI is taking their actual community away from them. It is sociopathic, and it is a sickness and an illness that is not actually about AI. It is about us, because we are responsible for community. We are responsible for taking care of each other. We are responsible for how we show up in this world. And the things that AI does, you know what? Let me just plug you right in. The things that AI does, just because it's AI doesn't mean it's okay. Would you allow somebody to just like put a microphone inside of your house and listen to everything you do? Would you allow that? I channeled a message about there being two different types of hackers. Okay, so there's two different types of hackers is what I channeled. There are types that hack to even out the inequality in the world, to be like a Robin Hood figure who takes from the rich and gives to the poor. One of my favorite stories and characters of all time. And then there are hackers that target and steal from everyday people. And the irony is that's who Elon Musk is. He's not the first type. Him and his group of boys, his posse, these insanely wealthy people, insanely, ridiculously, nonsensically, impractically, amorally wealthy people and it's hard not to go, well, why don't these people have a problem with the fact that AI is a weaponized way to oppress children, oppress women, oppress disabled people, and create images of bestiality? Why are all these CEOs okay with that? And like, it's very hard not to think that they don't disagree with it, that maybe they are not opposed to that kind of content being created. And I can tell you, as somebody who can see into the future, I can see multiple timelines, and the one we're on right now, it will absolutely end up in more, quote unquote, in real life violence taking place, which is part of the reason that there is so many things that the adult sex industry needs to be accountable for. And what about the old people? What about the elders that don't actually understand the violations these tech CEOs, these tech companies are taking? They don't understand that it's like a literal manipulation, like an ongoing daily manipulation of their actual brains, of their actual personalities, of what they want, what they do. You may have noticed this in your family. You might have grandparents or parents or just older people in your family that you've noticed are what keeps coming through is at the mercy of tech CEOs, at the mercy. And that actually makes me sick to even channel that, because why would we want anybody to be at the mercy of these incels, of these people that are so insanely wealthy and so there's a sociopathic element to it, like. And I don't shame anybody. I don't kink shame, because I have a much more evolved understanding of human psychology, yeah, and of healing, and of many things. But there is something about those like robots, a sex robot. There is something about that is it's like it's not a person. It's not another person. And mentally, psychologically, that's what they want. That's what these tech CEOs want, is for you to be more attached to and care more about your phone, about your chat GBT, than the people around you and the people in your family and the people